Question 2, Mr. Chen Cho-kwong. Thank you, President. In 2024, the government established the Chinese Culture Promotion Office, or CCPO, with the aim of promoting Chinese national culture on all fronts. However, there are views that while most of the events organized by CCPO are focused on longitudinal, quantitative promotion, as in the cases of mega exhibitions, performing arts events, and carnivals, they rarely touch on the lateral connection between literature, history, and philosophy. But given that the soul of Chinese culture lies in imparting morality through literature, drawing lessons from history, and engaging the world with philosophy, a lack of lateral accumulation of insights might turn cultural promotions into just superficial photo check-in activities. In this connection, will the government inform this council of the specific strategies that CCPO will adopt to change the current promotion model that emphasizes mega events and quantitative indicators, such as by establishing a thematic mechanism for the lateral connection between literature, history, and philosophy, involving experts and civil academics in the decision-making processes for events organized by the CCPO, and aligning cultural wisdom with modern life practices so as to avoid superficiality and musealization in cultural promotion and further deepen the public's profound identification with Chinese national values. Thank you. Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism. Thank you, President. Chinese culture is distinguished by its long history, vast scope, and profound depth. Rooted in Chinese cultural traditions, particularly Lingdam heritage, Hong Kong has also inherited a legacy of East-West cultural exchange. This unique blend has shaped the cultural development path with distinct Hong Kong characteristics, balancing inheritance, integration, and innovation. The 15th Five-Year Plan outline highlights the importance of vigorously advancing the transmission and development of fine traditional Chinese culture. President Xi Jinping has also stressed that the essence of Chinese culture should be adapted to contemporary contexts and aligned with modern society, so that it can be promoted in attractive and widely engaging ways. In this regard, in our work of promoting Chinese culture, the government should uphold core principles while pursuing innovation and present it in an accessible style that relates to daily life so as to enable its integration with the community and resonance with people. This is precisely the policy direction of the CCPO, Chinese Culture Promotion Office, which was established under the LCSD in 2024. The CCPO has adopted this policy direction in discharging its duties of coordinating resources related to Chinese culture and history within the LCSD, serving as a gateway for the public, especially young people, to explore Chinese culture. The CCPO aims to cultivate an interest in and deepen public understanding of Chinese culture through activities, and strengthen a sense of nationhood, national identity, and cultural identity through participation in and hands-on experience. Since 2024, the CCPO has launched two signature projects, namely the General History of China Exhibition Series and the Chinese Culture Festival, or CCF. Through exhibitions featuring cultural artifacts of different dynasties chronologically alongside supporting activities, the General History of China Exhibition Series presents the vertical development of Chinese history and culture in a structured way. The CCF showcases the richness and contemporary vitality of Chinese culture laterally through a diversity of performing arts programs, talks, educational programs, and community events. These two signature projects are mutually reinforcing each other by incorporating local historical and cultural events and fostering cultural interactions and exchanges between Hong Kong and different regions of the mainland, offering the public a more comprehensive local perspective on Chinese culture. A notable example is last year's exhibition, The Great Unity, Civilization of the Qin and Han Dynasties in Jiangxi Province under the General History of China Exhibition Series. Apart from exhibition, it was complemented by such extension activities as public programs, lectures, and teachers' training sessions to give a multidimensional explanation of Qin and Han history and culture. In parallel with the exhibition, the CCF featured Xi'an as the city in focus to highlight the pivotal role played by the region around Xi'an in Qin and Han history. Related programs included Xi'an drum music, Qin Qiang opera, Cantonese opera, Zhou Yu thrice humiliated, and the battle at Changbanbo, talks on the Three Kingdoms opera, the Three Kingdoms in Chinese opera exhibition, and Cantonese opera films, The Legend of Guangong. These programs serve to extend the history of the unified empire established during the Qin and Han dynasties to encompass related historical figures. The Hong Kong Public Libraries also organized lectures on Qin and Han history and culture and parent-child storytelling theaters. Scholars were invited to deliver academic talks and organize a study tour for teachers to cultural institutions and heritage sites in Shanxi province to facilitate the teaching of Chinese history and culture in depth. All these serve to present the profound essence of Chinese culture by weaving together Chinese literature, history, and philosophy. The previous two editions of the CCF recorded a total attendance of over 1.8 million. Around 85% of the participants agreed that the CCF had enhanced the understanding of and interest in Chinese culture, showing remarkable results. To enable sustained learning of Chinese culture among the public, the CCPO has set up a dedicated website and social media platforms to pull together online resources relating to Chinese culture from various museums, along with accessible short videos covering Chinese literature, history, philosophy, music, art, folklore, and intangible cultural heritage. The videos introduce, for example, Tang poetry, classical Chinese texts, and ancient thinkers in an edutainment format, with a view to transforming traditional cultural contents into learning resources that are easier for the public to comprehend and absorb. To date, the short videos have nearly 800,000 cumulative views, providing a sustained learning resource for both the public and schools. To deepen public understanding of Lingnan culture, the CCPO conducts on-campus lectures and workshops using resources from local and Guangzhou museums and integrates Lingnan music activities into school music lessons. Additionally, the Chinese Culture in Hong Kong Gardens series guides the public through the Lingnan Garden within Lai Chi Kok Park, offering an immersive experience of Qing-era Lingnan architecture and landscape design. The CCPO has actually gone beyond organizing mega exhibitions, performing arts events, and carnivals, and developed layered cultural learning pathways through carriers of culture in diverse formats. Indeed, these works are echoing President Xi's call for an effort to bring back to life artifacts in museums, visible heritage across the land, and words in ancient books in order to transform the static preservation of Chinese culture into its living transmission in daily life. The LCSD will continue to expand its program portfolio and strategies and incorporate a more extensive range of themes and contemporary elements so as to let the public experience the enduring vitality of Chinese culture and therefore further strengthen their sense of national identity and cultural confidence. Thank you, President. Mr. Chen Cho-kwong. Thank you, President. I'm pleased to hear from the Secretary that there is a series of activities to promote Chinese culture. There are different layers and depth. But what is Chinese culture? Simply put, culture includes tangible culture of the system, words and symbols, and more importantly, the language. Now in Hong Kong, we have a lot of academics, we have lots of professors among us. There are lots of academic bodies which can define Chinese culture. Now, under Confucianism and Buddhism, we have the loving and caring culture, as well as the pursuit of spiritual fulfillment under Buddhism. Now, during Chinese New Year, the Great Sweeping Festival, and the Cho-kwong Festival, we can promote Chinese culture. We also have the religions, including Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. These are also vessels of Chinese culture. Can the governments work together with these religious bodies to promote Chinese culture? Secretary. Thank you, President. Now, back in 2024, when we announced the development blueprints for creative industries and culture, we have stated that promoting Chinese culture is an important direction of development. That also includes promoting the richness of Chinese culture. That includes organizing more activities. But the member is right. We need to go deep and reach into the souls. Chinese history goes 5,000 years back. It is very rare in the world. Chinese culture is deeply profound in our hearts. During Great Sweeping Festival, we would remember our ancestors. Now, when I visited a primary school, I was taught by primary students on the meaning of a traditional Chinese dessert. During Dragon Boat Festival and Chinese New Year, the tourism board would organize a lot of activities to celebrate these events. Hong Kong is a center where Eastern and Western cultures meet. Visitors, including visitors from the mainland, told us that Hong Kong is a place rich and steeped in these Chinese cultural heritages. So I thank the member for his reminder. Now, with the establishment of the CCPO, academias, professionals, the general public, and also the LCSD, we have been achieving much. Professor Cho-kwong. Thank you, Deputy President. I support and recognize the work of the CCPO. Promoting Chinese culture should be conducted in a diversified manner. We need to have academic events. We also need to have more popular events. For example, Chinese medicine, it is a vessel of Chinese culture as well. However, if we always talk about the difficult theories about the meridians, then it cannot reach to the general public. Now we can have some workshops and tour in traditional Chinese pharmacies. Now through these, we can enhance the interest of the public in Chinese medicine. For example, we can conduct tours to the Chinese medicine cabinets. Now, can we have more workshops, for example, on paper making and also the traditional Chinese printing techniques to preach the richness of the Chinese culture? Secretary, thank you very much. Now, let me share with you my experience last week. Now, it was a dinner banquet. Now, instead of the normal number assigned to tables, my table was called Cho-kwong. That's a very important meridian on our head. Now the other one was called Kunlun. That's a meridian on our foot. Now because we use our feet to travel. Now even the dishes were specialty food themed upon the name of our meridians. So that's how we integrate Chinese culture into our daily life. Now concerning Chinese culture and also the Chinese medicinal ingredients cabinet. Now in our Heritage Museum, there is a session showcasing traditional Chinese medicine pharmacies. There is a pharmacist which would dispense Chinese medicines to the patients with technologies from the traditional cabinets. So concerning particularly interesting topics, when we curate exhibitions in our museums, we can do so in thematic exhibitions to go deep into these cultures. Mr. Andrew Lam. Thank you, President. Now, Hong Kong has a role to play in promoting Chinese culture. This is also our roots. We need to pass on the culture. However, promoting and passing on Chinese culture cannot simply rely on our government. Now, in terms of bringing together the community in promoting Chinese culture and even collaborating with organizations in the mainland, does the government have any specific plans? Secretary. Thank you, President. Just now, I've confirmed the points with my colleague. Now, when curating exhibitions in museums and when planning for new museums, we would definitely canvass the resources in the country. So concerning the upcoming museum on national developments and achievements, we will collaborate with museums in the mainland to enrich the artifacts and exhibits. Now, when we conduct the general history of China exhibition series, when we conducted the exhibitions on the Sui and Tang dynasty, we have been collaborating with the Shanxi province. Now, Chang'an was the capital back in the Tang dynasty, so we received a lot of good advice from the Shanxi provincial government on how to make the exhibition extraordinary. Now, we have also been working with the CCTV and the Voice of the Bay Area in collaboration of a diversified cultural program. So that's how we are harnessing the experience of the country to organize exhibitions and activities with Hong Kong characteristic while promoting Chinese culture. Now, we also have a lot of collaboration with other departments. For example, with the Education Bureau, we have the training courses for teachers on Chinese history. Now, with the Water Supplies Department, we have the memorial celebration of the importation of Dongjiang water. We also have an exhibition on the achievements of the Dongjiang battalion. Now, the Culture in Hong Kong Garden series is also in collaboration with other countries. We identified common characteristics between Chinese gardens and gardens in French and other European countries. So we share mutual appreciation. Professor Lau Jipang. Now, according to the Secretary, many activities have been held by the CCPO. In particular, many professionals and academics' views have been canvassed. You're also consulting the public and lawmakers' views. Now, since the portfolio is so diverse, in what way have you consulted professional, the academic, as well as the public's views? Secretary, I thank Professor Lau for his question, and the CCTO would regularly consult the Museum Advisory Committee on Museum, as well as the 3 subcommittees concerning the way forward of his work. Now, the CCPO would follow up on the views received seriously. Now, the CCPO has just been established for 2 years. We will continue to enhance his work. Now, the Advisory Committee on Museum, as well as the subcommittee, the membership comprises a wide background, including collectors, art, academics, artists, and even community leaders. So I also thank Professor Lau for contributing to our work. We attach great importance to the views of these professionals because the CCPO and the LCSD alone are not sufficient. We need to mobilize all resources. Now, we are also engaging professional advisors to advise us on the future exhibitions. Now, we also canvass views from the public. Through questionnaires, we would gauge the views of activity participants so that in the future, we can do better in terms of promoting our events. Now, we are also using social media platforms widely. On our accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Xiaohongshu, we are interacting with the public to gauge the immediate feedback and reviews. we highly value the comments from the public. Mr. Brave Chen, thank you, President. I also thank the Secretary for her reply. This question alone shows how deep and wide the Chinese culture goes. Now, I thank the CCPO for their work. For example, change the name of the museum to the Museum on Coastal Defense. Now, the President herself is also very committed in promoting Chinese culture. So in the future, how can we support the government's work in promoting Chinese culture? Secretary, now the Museum of the War on Resistance and Coastal Defense was established on the 3rd of September 2024. Now, that was the 79th anniversary of the victory on the resistance, the War of Resistance. So riding on the opportunity, we changed the name of the Museum of Coastal Defense to the Museum of the War on Resistance and Coastal Defense. Now, the first year after that, we have received 180,000 attendances, up 20% compared with the year before. Now, there were some 400 visits from schools. The number of students attending the museum has surged to 30,000 last year. That means 30,000 students have visited just this museum alone. Now, for the History Museum, we also received 30,000 visits from students. For the Culture Museum, there were 43,500 students visiting it. So we are very pleased to see that the exhibitions, including the Dongzhang Battalion, were well received. Now, in August, there is a dedicated exhibition in collaboration with the Shaanxi province. It will be on the Yan'an history of the Communist Party as well as the War on Resistance. It will showcase how patriotic youth in Hong Kong contributed to the War on Resistance. So the exhibitions will continue further on. There are 6 more members who still wish to speak. In the interest of time, with the government, please continue to communicate with these members.
Question 3, Ms. Gray.